On January 1, 2026, Bulgaria officially adopted the euro, concluding the use of the Bulgarian lev after more than a century. Bulgaria is now the 21st member of the eurozone. The euro is now the legal tender for nearly 7 million Bulgarians, reflecting further integration with the European Union. Bulgaria's process toward euro adoption began with its EU accession in 2007, followed by years of economic reform to meet the Maastricht criteria. After addressing inflation and debt requirements, Bulgaria received political approval to join the eurozone. The government presents this as a significant step in Bulgaria's integration with Europe after the communist period. For some, the euro is associated with stability and simplified travel. It is also expected to facilitate trade and investment. The government anticipates that euro adoption will attract foreign capital and support economic growth. However, there are concerns about potential price increases and uncertainty regarding daily expenses. The transition requires balancing European integration objectives with public concerns. The outcome will depend on the management by the government and the Bulgarian National Bank. Observers are monitoring Bulgaria's transition from the lev to the euro. Bulgaria's experience with the euro is in its initial phase. The following months will provide further insight into the effects of this change. At present, Bulgaria is beginning its participation in the eurozone. The process will test the nation's institutions and public confidence. The adoption of the euro marks a transition for Bulgaria, closing one chapter and starting another. Bulgaria's progress toward eurozone membership has followed a gradual and complex path. After joining the EU in 2007, Bulgaria agreed to adopt the euro. However, the global financial crisis and European debt crisis led to postponements. Inflation and political uncertainty made it challenging to fulfill the eurozone's entry requirements. Changes in government leadership contributed to slower progress and affected perceptions among European partners. In July 2020, Bulgaria entered the exchange rate mechanism too, which is a preparatory step for euro adoption. The lev's fixed exchange rate with the euro provided monetary stability, and Bulgaria joined the EU's banking union, placing its banks under European Central Bank oversight. Legislative adjustments and ongoing supervision by EU institutions continued to be necessary. Bulgaria received approval to proceed only after meeting all technical requirements. The process required sustained administrative effort and compliance with strict standards. Bulgaria's experience illustrates the complexities involved in joining the eurozone. These delays provided opportunities for institutional and policy reforms. Bulgaria is now preparing to implement the euro in its daily economy. The Bulgarian government and business leaders express optimism regarding the euro's potential to influence the national economy. The adoption of the euro removes currency risk, which may increase Bulgaria's appeal to foreign investors. Businesses anticipate greater economic stability, which could support expansion and job creation. Trade with the EU, Bulgaria's largest partner, is expected to become more straightforward and cost-effective, potentially enhancing competitiveness. The tourism sector may benefit as eurozone visitors will not need to exchange currency. For citizens, the euro is associated with the possibility of higher living standards and closer integration with other EU countries. The government references examples from Slovakia and the Baltic states, where euro adoption coincided with economic growth. Financial stability is identified as a potential benefit, with the Bulgarian National Bank joining the euro system. Access to the European Central Bank's resources is expected to provide additional support during periods of economic uncertainty. There is an expectation that Bulgaria may gradually reduce the income gap with Western Europe. The euro is regarded as a means to enhance economic security and stability. A key consideration is ensuring that these potential benefits are distributed across all segments of the population. The impact of euro adoption will become clearer in the coming years. While there is optimism, some Bulgarians express concerns that adopting the euro may lead to higher prices. There is a perception that businesses could round up prices during the transition, which may affect household budgets. Pensioners and individuals with lower incomes are attentive to the potential impact of small increases in daily expenses. The Bulgarian lev is regarded by many as a symbol of national identity and independence. Some members of the older generation note the shift in monetary policy control to the European Central Bank. The dual pricing period and the practical aspects of the transition present challenges, particularly for elderly citizens and those in rural areas. there is awareness of the possibility of confusion or errors during the currency exchange process. Some analysts suggest that Bulgaria may have less flexibility in responding to economic changes. The experience of other countries, such as Greece during the debt crisis, is often referenced in public discussions. For many, the introduction of the euro represents both change and continuity. In Sofia and across Bulgaria, the introduction of the euro is a frequent topic of discussion, with a range of perspectives emerging. Many younger, urban residents view the euro as a step toward modernization and increased opportunities. In rural communities, there's notable caution, with concerns about potential price increases and the transition away from the lev. The initial phase of the transition has resulted in longer lines at banks and some uncertainty in smaller shops. Information campaigns have not reached all citizens equally, and older individuals may face particular challenges in adapting. Some groups have organized protests, advocating for a referendum and expressing reservations about the process. There is a perception among some citizens that the decision-making process lacked sufficient public consultation. For Bulgarians living and working abroad, the euro simplifies the process of sending money home. Pensioners and those on fixed incomes are monitoring prices closely as they adjust to the new currency. The effects of the euro will be most significant for those in vulnerable situations. The overall outcome of the transition will depend on the effectiveness of support for these groups. The adoption of the euro is gradually influencing daily life throughout Bulgaria. Bulgaria's entry into the eurozone is taking place during a period of political uncertainty and limited public trust. Frequent changes in government and coalition arrangements have led to questions about the state's capacity to manage the transition effectively. Concerns about corruption continue to be raised, contributing to public skepticism regarding the euro adoption process. There is ongoing discussion about the potential for the process to benefit certain political groups. Official assurances about price monitoring and consumer protection are often met with public doubt. This environment of limited trust presents challenges for building public confidence and facilitating a smooth transition. European partners are also observing Bulgaria's political and institutional preparedness. Consistent governance and institutional stability are considered important for successful eurozone integration. The upcoming period will provide an opportunity to assess Bulgaria's progress in meeting its commitments. The country's political environment is now receiving increased attention in the context of eurozone accession. The discussion around the euro in Bulgaria has been influenced by a significant amount of information circulating online, including some that is inaccurate or misleading. Unverified reports about economic instability, potential loss of savings, and financial interventions have contributed to uncertainty among the public. Some of these narratives originate from sources with pro-Russian perspectives, which may seek to influence Bulgaria's relationship with the European Union. This environment can intensify existing concerns about inflation and national decision-making, making it more challenging for individuals to assess reliable information. Limited media literacy and skepticism toward official statements can increase susceptibility to unverified claims. In response, both government and civil society organizations have initiated fact-checking and public awareness efforts, though these face ongoing challenges. Public opinion on the euro is now influenced by broader international dynamics. Addressing the spread of inaccurate information involves promoting media literacy and supporting independent journalism. The ongoing debate about the euro serves as an example of Bulgaria's approach to complex information environments. The decisions made will influence both Bulgaria's economic future and its role within Europe. The introduction of the euro is expected to have varied effects across Bulgaria's economy. Sectors such as export-oriented businesses and tourism are likely to benefit from reduced transaction costs and improved competitiveness. Real estate activity and remittances from the Bulgarian diaspora may also experience growth. In contrast, small businesses focused on the domestic market may encounter administrative adjustments and some uncertainty. Shopkeepers and market vendors will need to adapt to new procedures, and certain groups may require additional support. Pensioners and low-income workers could be more sensitive to any changes in prices. The government has announced targeted support measures, though their effectiveness will depend on implementation. The overall social impact of euro adoption will depend on how well vulnerable groups are supported. The outcomes for different segments of society will influence public opinion over time. Bulgaria's economic realignment is progressing, with a range of potential effects. Bulgaria's entry into the eurozone represents an important step for its institutions, social framework, and relationship with Europe. This development further aligns Bulgaria's future with the European Union and reflects a commitment to European integration. However, there are ongoing differences of opinion and economic concerns, influenced by information challenges and governance issues. It is important for the government to ensure a transparent transition and to support those who may be most affected. Building trust among citizens with European partners and in the European project will be a key factor in the process. The primary task extends beyond currency change to include strengthening democratic institutions and the rule of law. Bulgaria's ability to meet its obligations will influence its standing within the European community. The upcoming period will provide opportunities to assess the country's adaptability and approach to reform. The introduction of the euro marks the beginning of a broader process of change. The direction Bulgaria takes will help determine its role in Europe in the years ahead. The relationship between Bulgaria and the euro is ultimately about building trust and shaping the country's future.